This is Gunther Fehlinger Jan speaking, and I'm calling here for freedom for the Kurds. And Europe and the West must help the Kurds in Syria. What we have seen here is an absolutely wrong policy turn of the Americans, and this must be stopped. And also the Europeans, just because we want to get rid of some migrants from Syria, we have supported an IS terrorist. And al-Shara, who has now the power, as much as I loved to have a change, this was not meant that kind of change in terms of al-Shara, who is a IS terrorist turned now the butcher of the Kurds, of the Druze, and of the Alevites. And in 1 year of power, he has basically butchered all three major nations, and he has also suppressed, of course, the secular Arabs. And as I've told in many of these podcasts and videos, we must not trust the fiction of Syria. Syria was never meant to be. It's a total colonial construct. It was part of the Ottoman Empire. It should never have been established as a unitarian state. And it's certainly not a unitary tool of the suppression of the Christians and the Kurds and all the minorities. And there's actually the majority of Syrians who are left. And they are basically also pressed by a very radical ideological disaster. And that cannot stand, Mr. Trump. This is totally wrong. I don't know who advises you, Mr. Barack Obama or Tom, or what's the situation? You have the wrong people on the spot, and you make many mistakes. And now I call, first of all, we must break the siege of Kobane. Kobane must be liberated. These are heroes. These are normal civilians. This cannot be slaughtered just for the sake of Syrian unity, which will never work. There is no federal future for Syria like it is for Iraq. Only in a complete change of the governmental system. And yes, we have seemingly the Turks and the Americans have decided al-Shara is the man, and the Europeans somehow fall in line, and the Israelis as well. Now we have everybody else at the slaughterhouse, and that cannot stand. And I call for the following here: relieve the siege of Kobane, make sure that we recognize Rojava'yı Republic, all the territory east of the Euphrates River must be one independent state. And that's the first step we do have to do, and that's much better. And of course that will be not the Kurdish Republic where only the Kurds are citizens, obviously not, The Kurds are all in Europe, they know how this works, It will be an ethnically neutral, ideologically European state, very clearly. We must establish exactly that, like in Kosovo, multi-ethnic, with a democracy, market economy, part of the free world, and clearly defensible borders. And no, Mr. Erdogan, you don't enter from the north. And of course, the Iraqis won't enter from the east. And of course, the Syrian extremists may not cross the Euphrates River. This must be the dividing line. And that's the logic very clear. In the south, we need a new state for the Druze, as I have made on my X account yesterday, very clear. And the coastal republic of the Alawites is also very logical. It has even existed in the past. And here we must take these key sites from the east and from the west and from the south away. And, the future of the rump Syria, of ex-Syria, we will see that. Hopefully it will be good and better than al-Shara and Erdogan have to offer. But this will be their kind of connection line. This will be giving millions of people to this terrible regime, which I really don't like. But probably he has now the tools of power in hands in Damascus and Aleppo, and he will impose his terrible regime on them. But not on the Alevites, not on the Druze, not on the Kurds east of the Euphrates River. And ex-Syria is the much better concept. It's the much more humane approach, and it's much better. And this whole fiction of keeping the unity of states, and when they are obviously not working, and I call Syria the Yugoslavia of the Middle East, and it's much better to treat it like Yugoslavia, dismantle it, and make 4 better new states. I think the ex-Syria will be like Serbia, revanchist, I understand it. So we must protect the Druze and the Alevites and the Kurds, and this is the scenario. According to the Fehlinger doctrine, I really strongly and fast now recommend for the Kurds of Rojava to liberate everything east of the Euphrates, declare independence, take Kosovo as the role model, and fight for the freedom of the liberation of Rojava Republic east of the Euphrates, and we as Europeans should support them. And you know, if you the only concern you have in your political life is how to get rid of migrants in that Syria, where the Druze, the Alevites, and the Kurds will be killed, nobody will return. But in Rojava, it's absolutely possible to live in peace as long as the outside powers and the Damascus Central ISIS forces don't kill them. And we should definitely not endorse that. I mean, it's quite obvious. So let's have a better future for the people of ex-Syria and especially for the people of Rojava, but also the Alevites at the coastal Republic of Latakia, and in the south in Sueda, it's the name they use for the capital of the Druze region and future state in the south. So that's for ex-Syria. And please, Mr. Trump, the betrayal. Can you start listening to Lindsey Graham? And it is much better than all your stuff and all your Rubios and all your Hexets. Make Lindsey Graham the foreign minister and the future vice president, because he's the only one who seems to have real control of the things which are going on and has some decency, some moral standing, some clarity, and some resolve left. And I hope he is correct on Iran and definitely as well on the Kurds. He is absolutely correct. And now when the big changes are coming, when the strikes are coming, it's time for Rojava to be like Kosovo, independent, protected by America, nation built by Europe. This is the future for the Kurds of Rojava, east of the Euphrates. And this is my message from Vienna. Gunther Fehlinger, Jan speaking here. Please follow me on all channels. Please follow me in X. And thanks to all the Kurds who are doing now, and all the people of the Alevites and the Druze. And please endorse this message, share this video, promote my channels, and subscribe me on YouTube and follow me on X. And thanks for your support. And it's the minimum actually I can do here from Austria for the Kurds in Kobane, who now in the winter cold are besieged by the Turks and by the Syrian central government, IS related forces, to kill them in revenge for what? They are just normal civilians and good people and Kurds, and they should live. And they should live in freedom. All people in the world, from the Iranians to the Kurds, the Alevites and the Druze and the Arabs, have deserved freedom, security, prosperity, and that's what we have this world order for, and that's what I'm calling for. Thanks a lot from Vienna. All the best. And let's change the world to a better, freer place now.